Well, welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to the table. It has been far, far, far too long since we last sat down at the table. You can see I've got a new mat to do spreads on. So yeah, welcome to those who are new. Welcome to those who have returned to look into the archetype of Mr. John Lennon according to this beautiful deck of archetypal cards. So what I'm going to do is we're going to do I'm going to do a live layout of the spread. I don't know, the definitions of all of of all of these cards, and the guides are a little thorough. So I'd like to highlight each of the cards, kind of like in a slideshow presentation. We'll address each card. I'm just going to do a basic pyramid spread like I do, 3 up top, down to 1 on the bottom. So without further ado, guys, these cards are really cool. And like I said, I think it's just going to be cool to see what we can learn about the Beatles and their place in the archetypal structure each member brings to the band. And Kat, you actually brought up a really good question. Let's see if these cards align with the archetypes that the memoirs states from the playing cards of the Beatles. So, and we'll take a look at that too. So I'm going to do a little bit of shuffling like I do. Very excited to be back doing a spread with you guys. So what was Mr. John Lennon's place in the band? Who was he in the Beatles? That's what we want to know. I'm so happy to be back, guys. I really am. And I'm going to be wrapping up the last of my Major Arcana series is coming this weekend. Just got over being kind of sick, actually really sick, and I'm finally starting to feel a little bit better. I got on some antibiotics and back to normal. Okay, well, there's a jumper. Okay, so what was John Lennon's archetype? Let's check it out. The Offering. Okay. We have the Queen. Interesting. The Ocean. Oh, that makes me think of the song Julia. Ocean Child. Oh, wow. Okay. Let's keep going. Mr. John Lennon's archetype. The Kiss. The Vow. The Vow. Whoa. Okay. So interesting that we got the Queen, isn't it? And the Ocean. Emotional. The Threshold is our last card in this archetypal spread for Mr. Lennon. So let's take a look at this and let's see what the guidebook has to say about these beautiful cards. I'll see you guys on the other side. All right, so taking a look at this spread, really quick, I just wanted to take a look at the memoirs on page 93, the start of the chapter Masonic Checkmate. You'll see this picture of the four-headed beast with the suits, the four suits, and each beetle represents a suit. And according to page 94, in the footnote, it is saying that in the Beatles Yellow Submarine playing cards, the Fab Four each dominate one suit and are featured as its king and ace. So the suits are the same as that picture. John is of the diamonds. And so the diamonds are the pentacles or the coins. And they represent the season of winter and can represent materialism, rest, growth, wealth. And their direction, their elemental direction is east. So east being where the eastern star rises every morning, right? Yes. Okay, so let's take a look at the very first card in this pyramid spread that we did of Mr. Lennon. The first card being the offering. And let's take a look at what they have to say about the offering. Unlike many of the other cards in the deck, the offering carries a clear as day message and a call to action. As you may have guessed, it is time for something to be given and given up for the sake of the bigger picture. If nothing comes to mind immediately, though it's likely it will, take time in meditation to consider what must be offered and who is to receive it. It's likely you'll feel attachment and hesitancy. You'll make excuses, but recognize the link between the word sacrifices and the word sacred. One leads to the other. When we offer up something to the greater good, we lighten our load and become more able to serve. Imagine for a moment if you were to offer your whole self unconditionally to the world. For now, start small. And if we take a look at the different characteristics, it'll show here on the left side in black the dark concepts of this card. It says, once a week, Gandhi gave up speaking for a day, offering himself to divine silence. The offering can come in all shapes and sizes. And on the right, there's another. If there's a gift you've been thinking of giving someone special, now is the time. So when it's light, this card stands for generosity, donation, volunteering. When it's dark, giving with expectations and keeping track. And this also represents Odin's sacrifice of his eye in Norse mythology. Isn't that interesting? Coincides with Horus losing his eye, right? To Seb. So interesting. So the offering is about a sacred sacrifice one makes. And now let's see what that entails. I find that very, very interesting, that that is the card that represents Mr. Lennon to start this off. So the next card in the spread is that of the Queen. And I find this very interesting. Okay, so the Queen can represent the Empress, the Mother Queen, or the Sovereign, perhaps a leader. Like her counterpart, the King, the Queen has a dualistic nature. Either she presides over the realm with grace and eloquence that comes from the heavens to uplift the spirit of others, or she falls into petty, contemptuous moods, casting a shadow across the land. If the King is the ego, the Queen is the expression of that ego in the world. She is the lotus's bloom, the dancer's bow, the moon's radiant reflection. When the Queen is seated in her rightful and righteous place, she is patient and forgiving. She waits for the grace of God and Goddess to move through her, striving and grasping for nothing to be the benevolent leader. To embody the Queen is to settle into deep trust, resolve, and power. The royal Queen fears nothing, for divinity itself cradles her heart. Let's take a look at the left side, what it says. The Queen does not accept the hands of a prince, but claims the throne. Knowing the King draws near, she is a magnet for the fully embodied masculine and entertains nothing less. And on the right, read Cleopatra's monologue in Shakespeare's Antony and Cleopatra, Act 5, Scene 2. Then read about Inanna, Tara, and Hera. Okay, so this card, when light, is the embodiment of grace, courage, resolve, stillness. When dark, it is vain, wrathful, self-righteous, and demanding. So, yes, very interesting. The Queen, I could see, towards the end, right? He embraced his femininity, definitely, by taking on Yoko Ono's last name, right? John Lennon Ono, I think, is what he changed his name to. Interesting. So far we have a sacrifice, and we have the royal Queen. To be determined if she falls into the light or dark yet. Because on the other side of her is the ocean. And again, as soon as I laid this card down, I immediately thought of the song Julia by John Lennon, where he calls his mother Julia Ocean Child. So the ocean represents the unconscious, the depths, and the incomprehensible. The power of the ocean is unmatched. To step into its salty waters is to step into the unknown. By its sheer volume, the ocean represents that conscious, all that is beyond our understanding. We cannot live within the ocean. We cannot claim it, manage it, or own it. It rejects our every attempt to dominate nature. Yet, amid its overwhelming power, it calls to us, inspires us, and invigorates our life on land. It dissolves the little us into the big us. When the energy of the ocean is present, there is change stirring that is beyond any change you've known before. The ego must dissolve. The saline swells work on your very cells, your fibers, your deepest underlying beliefs. Like Aphrodite, we rise from the ocean's froth, a new being. Life is change. Let the wave crash. Very interesting. Okay, so to the left, in red, it says, the ocean displays every emotion without shame to witness its glassy moonlight surface and its unforgiving storms is to know the full spectrum of the human experience. In the black over on the right side, study waves, touch their surface, get in the water. No matter where you live, each drop is part of the whole ocean. Each drop is part of the whole. The ocean is in every tear. When it's light, it is deeper than deep, big dreams or discovery. When dark, it's subsumed, drowned, polluted, unpredictable. To go deeper, look at Shakespeare's The Tempest. Yes, so we have a sacrificial offering from a femininely charged queen who is in touch with her emotions, who brings life and change to the scene. That's a contribution, being emotional and being able to be emotional with other people and showing the feminine side of yourself. Very interesting. Okay, so the next card on the second row is the kiss. The kiss represents the touch, the chemistry, the sex. So before a first kiss, the air is electrified. Each breath is alive with possibility and magic. What will their lips be like? Their tongue? Do they want me in return? The archetypal energy of the kiss is a heightened sensation of merging with other, of letting in what was moments ago with separate to become one. It is risky but beautiful business. These moments forever change us as we move past the solitary self towards union and acceptance. This card suggests true intimacy is around the corner, which requires bravery and surrender. When the kiss takes a non-human form, it may be experienced as touching the sacred, hearing a whisper, or being graced by a divine being. You will recognize the presence of the kiss by cold chills and an awakening of the heart. So the kiss on the left-hand side, let's see in black. Write down the story of your first kiss. What was changed in that moment? Then on the right, intimacy is multi-layered and requires our reflection. Revisit what you consider to be sensual, taboo, acceptable, and shameful. So when this card is light, it is sensual expressiveness, merging, or inviting. When it's dark, it represents neediness, pressure, dominance, or disrespect. Very interesting. So, almost going hand in hand with the ocean and the queen, the kiss is like getting wrapped up in this, overwhelmingness of emotion, and, that can lead to erotic experiences. The queen opens up her feminine energy. Something of a sacrifice is being made by the queen offering this kiss, because with the kiss comes, right next to it, the vow. And so the vow represents the promise, the oath, or the contract. And I find this very interesting because we have the offering, right? Like the offering and the vow, the sacrifice and the oath. Holy shit. Okay, so let's check it out. When the vow is spoken, the air shifts. Karmic ties are formed and destiny tilts on its axis. Our words and intentions have immense power. There is a reason the great mythic stories of our past often include the recitation of oaths and the mixing of drops of blood as a mark of union. The tricky part is that reciting the vow, no matter how casually, activates the eternal and unseen forces of the world. The ancestors bear witness. The laws of nature respond. These promises cannot be unsaid or forgotten. So breaking them can leave lingering complexities and loose ends. This card calls us to acknowledge the vow we are living by, consciously or unconsciously, and either recommit to it or create a ritual that signifies its closure. You've been underestimating the power of your promises. Wow. Let's see what it says in black. Anytime the energy of the vow is present, we are in the archetypal realm of ceremony and ritual. That means time stands still and anything is possible. Wow. So in order to be the queen, he had to take this vow after having received the kiss. Oh my gosh. So on the right, think of the last promise you made. Was it to yourself or to another? Has it been upheld or broken? And when this card is light, it's bearing witness to the shift towards destiny. When dark, unconscious vows, unkept promises, messy karma. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Okay, so lastly, we end with the threshold. And the threshold represents the door, the gate, the initiation, sacrifice, oath, initiation, guys. Oh my gosh. We cross thresholds continually, consciously, and unconsciously. Doorways, gates, and entryways grace our path on a daily basis. When this card arises, it signifies that the precipice you stand upon is not your typical one, however. You have arrived at a threshold of initiation, here to usher you into a new reality. It requires you to leave behind the you that you thought was so well formed. A new frontier calls. This is not easy work. Threshold initiation means a part of you will be lost in order to make space for what is next. A metaphorical death must occur. Oh, and then you go hand in hand with the ocean, being reborn in the ocean after that death. Oh, sorry, I'm jumping ahead of myself. Some may not recognize you. You may struggle to recognize yourself. The ground seems to crumble as you free fall into your new reality. This is the liminal realm. One step, dear friend. Just take that one necessary step toward the future that calls you. So on the left, in Hindu mythology, Ganesh is the ultimate gatekeeper. Look to the great elephant god for support. Hecate, Janus, and Mention are also watching over you. Very interesting that they call up those gods, right? Whoa, I'm getting like chills galore with this spread. So on the right in black, it says, crossing a threshold may not always be voluntary. Sometimes we are thrown across the boundary through circumstances far beyond our control. Either way, we cannot go back. So this card, when light, represents growth, individuation, ease in the liminal space. When dark, it's resisting, refusal to grow, barriers and boundaries. So, wow, you guys, this spread straight up confirms John's leadership into the initiation of the band. It is confirmed with this spread, you guys. He was the leader. He was the one who made the offering, the sacrifice, the sacred sacrifice. And with the death that comes with the before the initiation, after the vow and the kiss, you are reborn in the ocean, ready to start anew. So this is all pointing to John's place in the band as the one who led them down the path of the satanic path. The satanic pact that they made. Oh my goodness, guys. What do you think about this? Please, please, please let me know what you think. I am so curious. Next, we will look at Mr. George Harrison and check out his archetype. Let me know in the comments too if I should do one reading for Paul McCartney and one reading for Billy McCartney separately. In total, doing 5 Beatles versus 4. Let me know if I should do that. Okay, guys, thanks for joining me. Very, very interesting. I cannot wait till we get to the next one. So please join me there. And thank you for watching. Have a wonderful day. Bye.